can throw this behind you if you want.
Oh, that works. Yeah. Perfect.
This couch is, it's comfortable, but it's not.
Yeah, I dig it. Hi, welcome back to Unique Minds of the Okanagan. I'm Robb O'Day, and we're on location in Penticton with Brett Diplock, the creator of Body Breakz, dance crew.
Yep.
How you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me as well.
No worries. Let's dive right in by who you are, where you're from, and how you got into breakdancing and dancing.
Okay. Well, I'm Brett. I grew up down at the coast, mainly Chilliwack, till I was in my 20s. Then ended up moving around. Eventually came to the Okanagan, mid 2000s. Went back to the coast. But yeah, now I live in the Okanagan. I love it up here. It's great. I got my start dancing early. I think I was about 20, 21 years old. And yeah, it was about then. I was at a rave. Saw other people dancing the way I always wanted to dance and never got a chance to because it was never available at local dance studios. They had hip hop and stuff, but it was never the stuff that I wanted to do. I always wanted to dance when I was younger too, so it was something that was always there. And then I saw people doing what I wanted to do and slowly started learning the form of popping, which is, like what Michael Jackson does kind of thing. I learned a lot of like liquid style stuff before I really got into the popping, and then met a few people that were able to teach me a few things, and then I developed my own style. And I've been doing it now for around 23 years now, something like that. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
23 years of dancing is like... Dancing for 5 minutes is hard on the body.
Yeah.
So to do it for 20 plus years, how... what's been like the biggest challenge that you've noticed as you've progressed as like a dancer?
Probably one of the biggest challenges is not getting I would say respect that, for instance, being in like the rave, the electronic music scene, they always want us dancers up on stage showing up and doing our thing to add to the event, but they never want to pay us enough. And the thing is some of those dancers that are up there have put in 2, 3, 4 times as much effort into learning their practice than, for instance, the DJ who maybe has only been DJing for 2 years. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then we don't really get as much out of it. But the last few years, people have really there's been a lot of us really advocating for proper payment and stuff like that, and none of this working for exposure. We don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
We're old now. I'm 44 years old. If I'm going out and performing for you, I'm gonna be getting some money out of it.
Yeah.
It has to be done. I don't do this stuff for free anymore.
Well, no, and that's the thing is like, as artists, we talk with tons of different artists, from musicians, hip hop artists, painters. Hardest thing is putting a price on yourself and the art that you do.
Exactly.
And then staying true to that is even harder, because there's gonna be times where it comes down to a moral code of like, I really want to play this festival, but they're not willing to pay me. Then no.
Yeah, exactly.
And then next year they pay you.
Yeah, really. I mean, there's the odd time that, I'll accept certain things because I see, for instance, there's been a festival that I went and performed at last year, and I didn't take a payment. They just gave us tickets, and that was basically it for the weekend. Mm-hmm. And I was okay with that because it was the second year of the festival, and I can see them growing already. So certain situations, if you can grow with the festival, then eventually there will be some of the perks and stuff. And I mean, it wasn't that far out of our way either. Yeah. So that there is certain situations where I will, if the other people with me will let it slide as well. But most of the time now we're taking payment.
Well, and that's the thing too, is it's because it is a business at the end of the day. It's very hard, and in a discipline where, like you said, it doesn't get let's say, the recognition that it should. Other dance forms get tons of recognition.
Yeah.
Ballet, hip hop, even, contemporary. There's a lot of respect for it, but when it comes to, like, one of my favorite dancers is Nonstop.
Yeah. Yeah.
His liquid dancing and like his reverse, how that one video where he does a reverse and you're like, oh
What?
my, right? Like you're like,
Yeah.
how does he do this? Like, people look at it, it looks cool, they like it, but they're not gonna like dive into it as much. And I feel like that's one thing I love about the rave scene, was it is very embracing
Oh,
of
yeah.
dancers.
Oh, big time. Big time.
But I think they do, like you said, have to accept the fact that dancers are artists. They're not
Yeah.
just there to have fun, dress up and be on stage, but like, you're dancing for 8+ hours a day,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's 8 hours of your time plus the travel,
Yeah.
the
exactly.
energy and expense that happens. So it's definitely an art form that is, I don't want to say growing, because it is massive and dance has always been massive, but it's starting to become more of a business versus just like an extra.
Yeah, exactly.
And you see that.
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely becoming more of a business. There is far more dancers out there as well that you're like now that you're up against, but at the same time it is also flooded with mediocre, but because some of them know people, they're the ones getting the gigs. So it's I mean it's politics, and anywhere you go, it's pretty much the same thing. Everywhere you go, you're gonna run into it. Some this, that, and the other. It happens, and you just have to shrug it off and keep moving forward and just keep trying. Like, I mean, the team that I've put together is extremely talented. I've worked with many of them for years, and I know all of them, and every single one of them has like a different style of dance too. Every one. One person had like really, she's all about like a more burlesque style. Another one that's like straight up hip hop dancer. Another one that's a popper like me, but he has more breakdancing style. And then I have a couple that are break dancers. Another two that are really good with fire, spinning fire and hula hoops. And then there's me, and I'm a popper.
That's funny.
But I've been doing it for a long time, so I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah. The fire spinning is one that is like, my aunt taught us how to do poi when we were kids.
Yeah.
And she would spun fire, I guess. So,
Yeah.
but watching that growing up was always like super inspiring. And then when I pull poi out, people are like, wait, how do you do that? How do you know that? It's like, it's really not difficult,
Yeah.
but to be good at it takes a lot of practice.
Exactly.
It's not just like,
Exactly.
because especially if you're spinning fire and you smack yourself in the head,
Yep. Yep.
like there's chain balls. The contraption that's holding the flame itself is most of the time like a metal cage.
Yep.
And you're getting smoked
I've
with one of
been
those.
at a festival and like wasn't fully paying attention, and I walked to an area and someone was spinning fire, but their thing it had gone out, so I didn't see.
Oh.
And yeah, I wasn't paying attention. I came along and it had just gone out, and they were just about to bring it down, and I got cracked.
Oh man.
Yeah, I got hit in the head with one.
That
It's
would
not
be
cool.
so painful. So I want to dive into how you decided, and like, because with bands and artists, there's like a step that's like, oh, we want to start performing.
Yeah.
We got to go book a show. We got to make sure we have our gear lined up, and we got to promote. With dance, how do you say, I want to start performing at shows and build a dance group? Like, how does that concept come about?
It's always been a thing ever since I was into it, because as a dancer, you're a performer, really. When you start getting into it and stuff, you want to show other people what you can do. It kind of becomes you want to be a performer, so you start looking for avenues to be able to do that kind of thing. When I first was really getting into it, and I would say that was probably 2005-ish, somewhere around there. That's when I met somebody, and he was actually involved. He was teaching dance here in Penticton, and because of that, he ended up meeting other people that wanted him to come perform. So he ended up pulling me with him. So that gave me the bug, because he had already performed. He had actually, he had been on Trailer Park Boys
Okay.
back in the day. There was a scene with
Corey and Trevor or J Rock?
J-Rock.
Okay.
Had the nightclub.
Okay.
There was 2 people dancing out front. Mm-hmm. My buddy was one of those guys.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, he taught me a few things. He started bringing me out to these events and stuff. So it did give me the bug to want to perform on stage. But it took a while. I mean, I did a few performances here and there. But at that point, I was also substance abusing. So I didn't really get all the opportunities to do it. And then I can't remember what year it was. I think 2013. 2013, I was at Motion Notion, and a couple of my DJ friends that were playing there invited me to come up and dance on stage for them. So that was really my first dancing on stage at a festival while a DJ was playing, instead of dancing to music that we picked, kind of thing. So it was completely different, doing it freestyle, you know. That really, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. I ended up on stage for half an hour of my buddy Sticky Bud's set. So that was really cool. And then the following, between that summer and the next summer, I ended up meeting a few people in Vancouver, and they were looking to start a dance crew to start performing at shows and stuff like that locally and festivals and whatnot. So I decided to join up with them, and yeah, I got my first festival gig the next summer. I was dancing at a festival that year. I think I did just one that year. And then, yeah, after that, pretty much every summer I was dancing at a festival or 2. My busiest summer was the summer right before COVID, and I did 7 festivals.
Wow.
Yeah. Only one of them I didn't perform at. Every other one I performed at.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And even the one I wasn't supposed to perform at, I still ended up on stage.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So.
That's a cool, like, trajectory, and it's kind of funny that the first time being pulled up was for Tyler, because he's an amazing person.
Oh yeah. Yeah, me and Tyler go like way back to, I think I met him in like 2005, somewhere around there.
That's awesome.
And like when we had nights at Elevation and Higher Ground, which was the little space above District right now.
Okay.
The little spot up top.
Yeah.
We used to have nights there all the time,
That's so cool.
That's where I met a lot of the people in the scene out in Kelowna, and got heavily involved in it. And we were going to raves every weekend. It was crazy times back then, but man, it was fun.
Right, and like
lots of dancing every weekend, and that was my thing. It was just like, oh, I gotta go out dancing. Gotta go out dancing.
Yeah.
So, you know,
pardon me. It's kind of a cool thing to see, because there's a lot of big DJs that have come out of Kelowna.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And as they were coming up, the rave scene around here was huge. I remember like the like Rustic Robots. And,
oh yeah,
right.
I went to a few of those.
Just these little raves in the woods that nobody knows about.
Elysium, the ones that Brandy and Alex put on.
Yeah.
Oh man, there was a whole ton in Kelowna. There was Zion Sound Gathering up at Lost Moose Lodge. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you ever went to that one. That one was cool. Hidden 1, 2, and 3. Oh man, there was so many good ones, and it just I wish we had that still happening.
I think the thing is that the leaders in that movement had grown up and stopped hosting shows because...
And the younger generation just kept getting all fucked up and not really, getting all messed up.
Yeah, it's all good. It can be bleeped.
And not really getting involved in trying to keep having shows happening. And the thing is, it costs a lot more to host shows now.
Yes, it does.
The equipment's way more, like, a lot more expensive. Then people only come out if you have PK sound or, you know, this kind of thing. And kind of sucks. Back in the day, we didn't have that. It was just like, oh, someone's hosting a party. There's going to be some DJs playing. Let's go.
There's definitely been like as it went from like an underground movement to being like one of the most popular genres of electronic being so popular.
Yeah.
There is like a nose pointed up now.
Yeah.
For a lot of
and
things that made what it is.
And you know, like back in the day too, those little one night parties or like even like some of the 2-night events, they were affordable.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're getting into festivals where they're not affordable.
Sean's like $1,000 a ticket.
Yeah.
If not more now.
And then by the time you're said and done, you're taking a week off of work.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take a week off of work just for the festival.
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, there is festivals that I'll do and stuff, and I don't mind taking, 5 days off, and the festival is 3 of those and you have 2 travel days.
Yeah.
You know, that's all right. But when you're having to take a week off just so you get a good camp spot and having to go early to get a good camp spot, I don't find that fun anymore.
No.
Then you're literally planning so far ahead, and it's just, I don't know. That's not something that really entices me anymore.
No, I was recently talking with my cousin Zane, actually, because we were talking about the rave scene and how it's really difficult for DJs to... We were talking about merch and how my band we just ordered in like $5,600 of merch, and he was mind blown.
Yeah.
So how can you afford that? And none of it's out of pocket. It's all savings that we've
Yeah.
saved from selling other merch and shows. And I was like, it's just bands look at it differently than DJs do, because DJs are trying to get on these parties and festivals, and instead of booking venues and booking shows. And that is like, and once you bring it indoor, it has like this professional thing, right? Like big festivals, if you can get on the lineup, that's professional, yes.
Yeah.
But to make yourself a business from your art, you can't just like... Ravers don't have money in their pocket for merch. That was like my main thing with him.
Yeah,
it's just like you have to go to a bar.
Sense.
You have
That
to
makes sense.
book a show where people are putting money in their pocket to buy the merch, because
Yeah.
nobody's walking around with money at a rave. They're A, strung out, B, why would you carry money? Because you're not going to lose your wallet.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, the bigger festivals, that's where having merch is good. But some of those bigger festivals, you're not allowed to sell merch out of your campsite.
no, and the merch is like way away from the
Exactly.
stages.
Certain festivals, if you can swing it and you know someone that has a booth that they're selling their products out of, you go talk to them and be like, hey, I'll give you part of the profit if you just carry some of my merch in the corner here. And then we can tell people to come to you. And honestly, that's what I'm working on too, is I'm like, that's my plan over the next few months. So I actually want to build my dance team as more almost a brand. And as well as have the dance team with it as well. So I'm hoping it'll go, but if it doesn't, it doesn't.
The thing about branding is like, I'm very guilty of it too when we built Enigma, that if I built a good logo and had merch and stuff, that it would sell. But unless you have a following or a message. And that was the one thing we were lacking. And it was during the pandemic when we built Enigma, and it was a podcast.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the pandemic kind of like closed off and we could start booking shows that we realized like, oh, our whole mission with this company is just to help the up-and-comers.
Yeah.
Because big bands have that. They can just book a show and get it. But like up-and-comers have a really hard time getting in. Like usually they have to book to themselves, and then they have like nobody showing up because nobody knows their name.
Yeah.
So to be able to give a platform for emerging bands, medium bands, and even larger bands to kind of come into the Okanagan again was what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And through that, we've realized that you have to expand and build it as a brand. But that is what built our brand.
Yeah.
Was building a family. And I think that that's what all the biggest brands that really matter kind of have, that family commodity to their branding.
Yeah.
And I think that like the branding aspect that you have, like your logo, the font, it's perfect for branding.
Yeah.
It's just getting it out there now.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the hardest thing. And it's
And
very defeating the first couple of years.
one thing that's actually really cool about like even just our like the logo that we have, it's actually a two-piece logo. The one that I've been using is like we've got a male and it says Body Breakz on it. Mm-hmm. The logo was actually, instead of it being a square logo, it's actually a rectangular logo.
And there's another half to the top.
There's a female on top.
Okay.
That, for the time being, I had just focused on just using the male part of it, but eventually I will make it so we can have like just female or both, you know, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So we'll have more options for people that, you know, want to support us and stuff. And to build make some cool looking clothes. That's kind of the plan down the road. So we'll see how that goes, but not overly worried about it at the moment.
Right, I'm super guilty of just making clothing for myself.
Yeah.
Everything I wear is
I literally just did that recently. I went and bought a hoodie and took it over to my friend's place. I'm like, here, put a logo on this, please, and put something on the back for me. And then my dog ate it.
Oh, it's funny. Animals are,
yeah.
Animals are funny that way.
Yeah, it was super nice hoodie too. It was like gray, and I had the bright neon pink Body Breakz logo on it.
Oh, nice.
And there was something on the back too, but then Milo decided to eat the cuff off of one of the sleeves.
Of course, it's the one thing that you see the most.
And I had only had it for like 2 weeks. It's like, you jerk.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, in all the years that you've been dancing, what's been your favorite experience? Like, which has been your favorite festival to be on stage for?
All right. Wicked.
All right,
This one, definitely, I would have to say Wicked Woods. For sure. I've danced for some of my favorite artists dancing at that festival. Not only danced for my favorite artists, I've danced with them too. I've danced with Crafty Cuts. Oh. I've danced with Charlie Tuna as well. That was epic.
Man.
But yeah, like I've been able to dance for Calyx and TB at that festival, TC, Crafty Cuts, many of my homies from like the Run It crew, Alan Flava, Cody Pottery, and and of course Thug Shells as well. I don't know if you know her, but you should know her.
No, I don't, but I'll definitely check her out.
Yeah, she's rad. And all those times at that festival, I can't emphasize enough how awesome it was to actually get to dance with my best friend too. During all those festivals, I got to dance with my friend Becky. Every single festival, she was my dance partner, and it kind of sucks that I don't dance with her anymore. We also live 5 hours apart too, so that
fair enough.
Sucks. But yeah, anyways, I would definitely say Wicked Woods was, and there's no like definite specific one time either. Probably, honestly, actually, the time that stands out the most is the very last time I danced on the stage at Wicked Woods, which was it would be 3 years ago this coming summer. I went up on stage for, who was it? I think it was Calyx and TB. Yeah, it was Calyx and TB. And I ended up on stage. They were doing an 1.5-hour set, and I was on stage. I did not get off the stage, continued to dance for half an hour straight. I came off and almost had a heart attack.
Yeah.
But that's the one time that stands out the most. Yeah. And the other person that was on the other stage, I haven't talked to in a while and miss her. But yeah, it was great to share the stage with her.
That's
as
awesome.
Well. That's definitely the one time that stands out of all the other times. But like I said, pretty much every time being at Wicked Woods was some of the best times, and getting to dance for some of the best artists and artists that I just thoroughly enjoy listening to and have listened to forever. And yeah, also getting to dance for Pino and Loeb, who are a couple buddies of mine from Halifax. That's pretty rad too. So
that's the one thing I love about like the big festivals around here, especially like our rave festivals are massive. They're really big.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to start naming them off. There's so many different festivals, to the point that if you're like, even around Nelson, if you're trying to book during the summer, they're just like, no, dude. There's no competing with the festivals out
Yeah,
here.
no, you can't. That's why, like, I mean, there won't be any shows basically in Kelowna.
No.
See, the inside shows are over. They don't do any more inside shows all summer long.
Yeah.
So that sucks, because I think I'm going to one festival this year, so I won't get any dancing in this summer.
Yeah, have you been to Intersect? They're not going on this year. I think they're last year and this year they closed.
Yeah, I was gonna do Intersect. I think I tried.
It's a long drive.
Yeah, isn't that the one Boston Bar?
No, it's way up in.
Well, that one's in Alberta, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, northern Alberta.
Yeah, northern Alberta, like
Super north.
Yeah, that's that
really
one's
fun festival though.
That one's too far for me.
They have like 4 stages, and it's like, so they have one indoor stage for bands, which is what we played for, I think it was 2 or 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
But then they've got like their rap DMB stage, which is really cool, but they're like these cool, like, they kind of look like Wicked Wits, but they're more rounded. They're not like the Pyramid or the A-frames. It was really cool. The guy who put it on was a really nice guy, but it's just like such a big venture to go that scale. Like as a promoter myself and somebody who like puts on festivals, like our festivals are, it's like 21 artists over 2 days, but like we're not going outside because the logistics of me to put on an outdoor festival that's all ages with the like insurance, the moment they hear metal, that no insurance company is going to book it.
Yeah.
So I can't like go and book an all ages show for local communities that's metal because the insurance is just like not happening, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
So like I can't imagine the logistics of putting on an outdoor festival with 4 stages and over 100 artists.
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
And to be successful at it is like my hat's off to them. It's
so
nuts.
and so many festivals, like if they go multiple years, majority of them, they'll have a tough year, and then they'll change ownership.
Yeah.
Someone else will buy it.
Yeah.
And then it'll build up, and then all of a sudden have a tough year, and then maybe that festival will flop. And that's what happens so often, though. You know, they'll go a couple, 2, 3 years, and then one bad thing will happen, and they're done. They can't do it anymore because it's almost the same as one paycheck away from being homeless. Mm-hmm. It's kind of the same when it comes to festivals. Not so much the one paycheck away from being homeless, but
one bad show.
One bad show, you're hooked.
One little incident. There's a lot of things that happen that like involve to a downfall. I think it's crazy how
like Curiosity.
Yes.
I was there. I was on stage.
Oh wow.
I was on that stage.
There's like a lot of stuff that goes on, right?
Yeah.
Like for example, like Armstrong Metal Fest is in their 15th year now. To keep a festival going for 15 years.
Wow.
And only get bigger and bigger and bigger and more successful. Like AMF is, and I think it's because the way Jesse and Breton run it is it's because it's a metal festival. There's like this weird metalheads love everybody. You know what I mean? Kind of like the Plur concept from back in the day, which kind of disappeared. I don't know when, but it did. You know what I mean?
It definitely has. I mean, it's still there.
It's still there, vibing underneath, the, like under the layers.
But there's a lot of fakeness to a lot of what's the scene now. There's a lot of fake.
Yeah.
And yeah, it definitely has changed. It's not as solid as it used to be.
It definitely, I think, and that's like, I hate to always talk about it, but I feel like it is like COVID really destroyed every single arts.
COVID really destroyed unity.
Yeah, there's like a huge division between everything.
It divided everything, and you can really tell with a lot of like all of our events and stuff are only just honestly probably within the last year-ish beginning to actually flourish a little more, and we're seeing more of them. Mm-hmm. It's taken a couple years for it to build back up, and even then there's still, I don't know, you can definitely still feel that it's a different vibe now.
Mm-hmm. People don't want to be like arm to arm dancing anymore. They want like their 4 feet still. Yeah. And it's weird. It's weird to see.
Yeah, it's definitely there's definitely been a vibe change in just going to any shows really. And yeah, it's different. It's different. Some of it I don't like.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's, I mean, what can you do, right?
I think that's the one thing we have power with, though, as like putting on shows, is we see like, oh, I really don't like how that structure is, or like the vibe of those events, and then being able to put on our own events is kind of like what gives us the ability to bring back what we loved.
Yeah.
Like my main thing with like Enigma is like, I really love the old school mentality of booking shows.
Yeah.
Book the venue, you put the flyers out, you know what I mean? Like,
And
I'm not big on like making video content to promote it and stuff. Like I'm all about like being real. So like if I'm gonna promote our show, it's gonna be me or Norm, our bass player, taking a selfie video talking, because that's genuine versus like coming up with some like cutesy video or something that makes that is promoted. So it's, as an artist, not only as like a musician, but like I can imagine it being difficult for dancing too, because you're, as a person who genuinely cares about the art of dance and trying to like build a following online, when you're competing against like 15-year-old girls who are just doing like trendy dances and making millions of views, and you're like, I've dedicated 30 years of my life to dancing and my videos maybe hit 2,000, and it's just, it's a weird, it's deflating. And this is where like I've got to like, you got to separate social media lifestyle versus the true artist lifestyle.
Yeah.
And which is very difficult to do.
Yeah.
And I struggle with it.
It, like, I started my dance team just over 2 years ago. We still haven't actually got a festival booking. And I've applied both, like the last 2 summers, I've applied at festivals and stuff. I mean, there is a festival that we have danced at, but originally it was only me getting invited up there, and I just said, hey, I can bring a couple more dancers. Mm-hmm. It's been a struggle for me. I mean, up until recently, we only had a handful of gigs here and there, and quite often it was usually only me just going out for it, or me and one other person going out. And I'm finally getting some more, you know, more people are calling to try and book us, but like recently we tried to get booked for a hip-hop brunch that was happening in Kelowna, and they ended up not continuing with it. So
was that
Revelry.
Was that Dave's show? Emotions?
No.
He had a day show. Emotions coming through Kelowna. He's got a day show, so I thought that might be it.
No.
Revelry is kind of a weird one. If you haven't, like, Revelry is like the greatest venue possible for our arts community, but if a show doesn't sell enough tickets, apparently they just cancel it. And I've heard that from multiple shows and like multiple different genres. Is if there's not enough pre-sales,
we got lucky, like with we were working with them with footwork.
Yeah.
Footwork, but and those I thoroughly enjoyed.
They've been around for a long time.
Yeah, I love the 7 to 11 shows. Mm-hmm. Those are great,
Yeah.
especially when you're old now.
Mm-hmm. Right,
being able to be home by midnight, it's great.
Yeah,
and still getting to enjoy a good night and get dancing in and stuff. But you know, now going to a show for 10 p.m. and not leaving there till 2 a.m.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, I don't like that. I'd rather go to a concert type setting. So much better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where like my mentality is too, and that's kind of where I'm like, I'd rather host like a 9 to 12, have solid music, like no in between, no stalls, but like I'm out of there by 1 o'clock, I'm home by 1:30, and then I feel it for the next 2-3 days.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not like where I used to be able to like perform every single night.
We're not young and spry like we used
to be. Right? And like that's like the May 17th show coming up is actually like my early 35th pre-celebration, because our drummer is in Italy, so we couldn't perform for my birthday. But for my birthday, we're doing the submissions. We're going over all the submissions for the festival in October. So like that's a way cooler birthday for me.
Yeah.
You get to listen to like, I think it's like 70 bands that have applied, different artists.
That ain't too bad.
No, so it'll be fun. But that's the thing too, is like even our shows, I don't want to go late. Like our headliner will probably be like 12 o'clock latest. Yeah. And they're done by 12:45, wrapped up by 1.
Yeah.
That's late for me too. And it's not like, if you're trying to get a younger crowd too, it's like the younger crowds don't drink. They're not partying as much.
This is so true.
They don't,
so
like,
true.
the younger generation is like, it's not our young generation where it was like, oh, we're 16, let's go party. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, it's 16. It's like, what are we doing tonight? We're gonna hang out and do nothing, or like we're gonna go out and go to a restaurant. Like they've got a weird, different
Yeah.
mentality. So
Yeah.
trying to market to a younger crowd nowadays as like, come party, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's
You-
come be entertained, come have some
yeah.
fun, and it's.
Yeah.
There's
it's-
one thing too, as I noticed, like dance and EDM work perfectly, but I don't understand why the hip hop artists who have DJs don't have dancers with them at their shows too. That's one thing I'm like that is the hip hop culture, was break, DJs, and MCs.
Right.
That's hip hop or graffiti,
Right.
but can't have graffiti.
The one thing that was starting to happen, like down in Vancouver, Lower Mainland, is they were starting to try and invite break dancers and poppers, and, like the hip hop elements of dance. They were trying to have us out, but they're so far and few between that actually want to come out to these shows. There's a lot of dancers in the actual dance scene, that go train.
Yeah.
They go to studios and train and do this and go to dance competitions and stuff. They have no interest in coming out for this kind of stuff. And it's so weird, because I was in both dance scenes at one point in Vancouver, and I constantly would ask my popping friends and breakdancing friends, I'm like, hey, you want to come out and perform at the show? You'll get paid, this, that, and the other thing. Oh, that's not really my thing. It's like, oh, okay. It's just weird. To me, it'd be weird. And then eventually I realized that they're completely two separate entities. Completely. They do not tie with one another whatsoever. So unless there's already the break dancers and hip hop dancers and poppers in that scene there already, you're not going to get them.
Yeah, fair enough.
And like out here, you know how hard it is to like just nail down getting a couple of my dancers together. My God,
I can imagine.
I like literally we have to book things, a month, 2 months in advance to make it so all of us could actually do something.
Yeah.
Like we were supposed to do the hip hop brunch at Revelry yesterday. All 4 of us could have gone. All 4 of us actually had the time to go, but they canceled it.
Yeah.
So, and like we had actually, luckily, I had info about it a month prior, so I was
Fair
able
enough.
to get
Cancel
everybody
them.
to book the days off and
Yeah.
stuff, and make sure that we could do it. And yeah, of course, it doesn't happen.
Hip hop is a weird one, especially like it used to have a really big. We used to have a really big hip hop scene when, like, the Stomp Down crew was around. There was a lot of hip hop happening.
Yeah.
In the Okanagan, and then it died down once, like, sadly to say, once the artists who made it big out of Kelowna left Kelowna.
Yeah.
So like, Golden Child left Kelowna, and he blew up and tours with Mercules and stuff. So like, he may live there, but they're not hosting shows there anymore like they used to. And that's one thing that's always kind of bugged me about bands that have made it. It's like, why don't you host little shows still at home?
Yeah, like
Like-
for instance, Excision used to host Elevation in Kelowna, like, and it went every second weekend, and then eventually he just stopped because he got too big.
He's
It's
got
like,
so
well,
much, like, so much on the go. And that's one thing, like, I've tried to, I would love to sit down and talk with Jeff, just
No
to,
problem.
like, pick his brain, because, like, I've got to talk with a lot of it, like DJ Thistle, who taught him how to produce, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, things like that, it's just, like, and I've met Jeff many times and spoke with him, but, like, to sit down on a professional level and pick his brain as to, like, because he's one I've noticed that never really played home. He made it so big. He used to play when he was younger, like back in the day when they were first getting big. He'd do a lot of home shows, but it was never like, you never see it. But then all of a sudden it was, they blew up, and then he was like world headliner.
Yeah, and like part of it was he had a certain stage show that he liked to bring. Most places can't handle it.
Yeah.
It's too big. They can't sell out. They can't sell enough tickets to cover the costs. And he wasn't even doing Shambhala for a while too.
Yeah.
He was just traveling everywhere, and I mean, that's what worked for him. Now he's doing Shambhala again, which is kind of cool.
And he hosts that big festival with the dinosaurs, doesn't he?
Lost Lands.
Yeah, Lost Lands.
Also, Base Canyon is his as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
The one that's at Is that Red Rocks?
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
That's his as well. I think he's got his fingers in another one as well.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So,
like, those boys are all, like, I got to meet them a long time ago because one of my ex-girlfriends is one of their really good friends.
yeah.
And he's an amazing dude to sit and talk to. He's just on a different level. He wanted to make it a business, and he saw his goal and he went for it, where a lot of other DJs are like, I got to build my popularity at home first. He's like, nah, I'm going global.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, where he stands above even, like, DJs like Tiesto in my eyes. It's like he is a great business person and a great artist.
Yeah, he also picked the right. He really did spark. He sparked it at the exact right time.
Yep.
Too. Jumped on a genre that was up and coming, and I mean, to be honest, I did the same thing when it came to dance.
Yeah.
I have a video on YouTube called "How to Dance to Dubstep"
That's dope.
from 2013 or something. No, it's even older than that. 2010. 2010. It's got 4.25 million views.
Wow.
The only reason it got that many views is because it was called "How to Dance to Dubstep." Mm-hmm. Honestly, it was actually one of the very first real videos of someone dancing to dubstep.
That's so cool.
And the crazy part about that video is I've met some of the people that I look up to as dancers, like Pop and John. Mm-hmm. I've met him.
That's so
we
cool.
got talking, and I'd mentioned my video to him, and he's like, "Wait a second." He's like, "I think I know that video." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, he pulls up his phone, and we went and looked up. He looked it up, and he's like, "Is it this video?" I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "Dude, I watched that video and realized dubstep was a great genre to start popping to, and I started using dubstep." And I was
That's so
"Wait,
funny.
what?
You're inspired one of your
What?"
inspirations.
He's like, "Yeah, dude." And I'm like, "Okay, that's insane to me.
That's
that
so cool.
blew my mind." So that's always a cool thing to hear.
That is, and I think that's one thing I love about dance is it's with music I can express words and emotion, but with dance it's such a physical thing, and it can be interpreted so differently.
You become the music.
Yes, and it's so weird. I love it.
A good dancer will become the music.
Yeah.
And when you see a dancer become the music, that means they're a really good dancer. Because it's not that it's there's lots of good dancers out there, but then there's the really good dancers that if they find that music and just become one with that song, with that sound, oh, it's just unreal to watch.
There's one crew that I'm trying to think of their name. It's got Chibi. It's got Chibi and
Remote Control.
Yes, thank you. And when they do
Chibi, iGlide, and
iGlide, yes, it's iGlide is the one I was thinking of.
and
His
and what's his name?
Nonstop.
Nonstop. Yeah.
Marquee, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the one song they did to the gold, I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, I know the video.
And they're all in gold suits,
Yeah.
and like just the way that they each move individually to the song is very unique. But then the way they're all moving together in unison is like, it's magical. And like, I don't know, like dancers are such an elegant thing.
The crazy part about that too is they're moving in unison, but at the same time doing it completely different at the same time.
Because they all have their own style.
They all have their own style,
Yeah.
but they're doing it in their style, but it's exactly the same way. It's
like it's three different elements. When I watch that video, I think it's like Nonstop is like water.
Yeah.
He's very liquidy, and then Chibi's very like glitchy.
Yeah.
Just because his body.
Chibi's robot.
Yeah, he's robot. And because his body structure.
And it's also he has rheumatoid arthritis.
Oh, okay.
As well, and that's what causes
like the stiffness in his joints.
But it's allowed him to become an insane dancer.
Oh, dude, he's so good.
Yeah.
And then iGlide is like smoke. The way he moves is like watching a cloud of smoke. Yeah. And it's just like, you watch the three and you're like, this is so unique.
So the way he glides, that's actually what I first learned when it came to dancing. It was gliding, and then and obviously like doing liquid shit like that.
Yeah.
But it was gliding and liquid. That's what I first learned how to do. I actually at one point was by a friend of mine in Vancouver who was heavy into the actual, like, the dance scene, the studio dance scene. Told me 3 years running I was the best glider in all of Vancouver.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, what? How does that even work? He's like, nobody glides. He's like, and any of the ones that do, you're just way cleaner than all of them. He's like, I'm gonna have to tell everybody that they have to learn because you're the best. And I was like, okay. And he apparently showed a bunch of his students a couple of my videos that he took of me gliding. He's like, this is what you guys need to learn. You guys have to do it like this. I was like, okay, that's cool.
Have you ever thought of putting on, like, who Emotions is, I assume. Mm-hmm. So Dave always puts on these really cool workshops where he teaches, like, kids how to dance and beatbox and rap. But he goes to, like, schools. And he approaches the school boards as, like, hey, we do a workshop and teach the kids how to do this. And I don't know how he gets in, but he gets in, and I was like, I'd love to see that down here.
I would be totally into doing that. I would need to meet some of the right people to do it with, though. Mm-hmm.
This is inspiring, right?
Oh, yeah. And actually, it's really funny. A buddy of mine who lives, where does he live now? Sunshine Coast, I think.
Oh, wow.
I think that's where he still lives. He was talking to me about doing that a couple of years ago, and he wanted me to teach at a few different spots. Like, he was going to travel around BC and hit, like, a bunch of different spots in the Okanagan. He's like, I'll hire you for all the Okanagan spots. And he's like, honestly, if you want to come to more, he's like, I'll hire you for them too, but it's just a lot of travel.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And yeah, I haven't heard anything since about it. He was trying to get I think funding didn't happen for it or something, but I would love to do that. That's actually, I would love to teach. Mind you, I don't know choreography at all, so that would be something I'd have to teach myself while teaching.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
choreography is a weird one, though. Like, especially, like, it's where I think it's like where it divides in dance. Is like there's choreography, which is like how I feel when you're taught music theory, and then you're stuck in that box of everybody has to dance the same way, everybody has to play music the same way. As where, like, when you base music on dance off feel, like, a lot of the greats are based off feel. Because it's not, you can't be taught how to feel something. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to, like, you can't be taught music. You have to feel music. Same with dance and same with painting. Like, that's one thing where I suck at painting, is because, like, I look at it very logically and not emotionally when I paint. So, like, my paintings are terrible because there's no emotion behind them. Yeah. It's like, oh, yeah, cool, I'm painting something.
And me as a painter, I did try that. When I was younger, I was too much of a perfectionist. So it would just take me too long to do something, and it would just look too perfect. You know, like, it would look like I traced something, or you know, I'm just like, no, this isn't right.
With dancing, what's been, like, the hardest thing to push through, like, with learning?
Well, a lot of the style that I do, popping, is moving your body in ways that it doesn't normally do. Like, there's so many different parts of it. Like, even, for instance, just, like, isolating and stuff like that. Well, you don't normally do that on a regular basis. So you're having to constantly teach yourself how to move things that... So it's literally retraining your brain to move in ways that it has never done before. So it's completely learning things that are completely new, and trying to teach muscle memory as well at the same time. And it gets tough. It is tough, but once you learn certain things, they stay with you forever. Okay. You don't ever forget it. So then it's a matter of just learning how to do something new while still using this. So it's kind of a curve. It's a slow curve, and then once you kind of hit that certain spot, then it goes drastic again, and you learn everything like tenfold. And then certain things that you can learn can be really quick, but they can also be really slow. For instance, I've been trying to teach myself tutting probably for the past 8 years. finally in the last couple of years have started to actually make it look good.
Okay.
So that's a massive learning curve. My hands don't move the way I would like them to, and your brain's confused, right? So you're trying to move things in the way that'll look cool, but your brain's confused trying to make it happen.
Do you have to do it in the mirror a lot so that you're watching what
Yes
your body
and
is
no.
moving, like how it's physically moving?
Yes and no. A lot of it, I don't. I've had problems doing it in the mirror because you're seeing it opposite, so it messes with your head.
Okay.
That's why I don't like doing it in a mirror. A lot of the times will be videoing myself.
And then
Then I
watching
look
the
back
video.
at the video.
Okay.
Be
That
like,
makes more sense.
what I'm doing there does look good. And like just really honestly, just trying it, and a lot of it is feel too. If it feels good, then it probably looks good too. So
I always find that I can do my upper body and make it look good, but my legs are like, I don't know, they don't ever want to do anything. They're like, you're trying to get your legs to look like they're moving in like water or something, and it's just like, it's not doing what you're intending, my friend. Right? It looks terrible.
Yeah, and I totally get that one too. Like, it's the same with me. Learning, like I said, learning curve. It's a crazy learning curve. You do this, and then this, and then this, and this, and this.
It's super physical. I think that's the thing too. Is like, I remember being young and breakdancing and like learning how to do windmills and like both ways of the worm, and then trying to do like the back worm and like just learning those techniques. But when it came to like stalls, like my upper body strength was never there. So like I could get into the windmill and push myself out, but never be like and stall and hold myself. It just boom, face plant into the ground. So like when I watch break dancers and dancers who can like do that, I'm so envious, and I'm like, man, I wish I could do that. Like it's so cool. I don't know. Dance is just something I've always wanted to. Like I was saying before we started, is like always wanted to. Like I'll do it by myself when no one's watching, but I'm so scared to do it in front of people.
Yeah. That was tough at first. Like heck, dude, I danced at 420 like Sunset down in Vancouver. One of the big 420 shows that they did there. I think it was the year before it went legal. It got legal, or no, it was definitely legal when I did it. Can't remember exactly when, but I got to dance in front of like 20,000 people. There was like, I think it was 20,000 people down there that weekend or that day. It was insane. That's the most amount of people I've ever danced in front of. And I think T-Pain was on after me. Yeah.
I love T-Pain.
Yeah. I got to dance all afternoon. Like, whenever I wanted to go up on stage, they're like, go for it. And I was like, this is so cool. I'm looking out at the crowd, and there's like so many people out there. It was just a super cool thing to be a part of. But yeah, festivals are great too.
When you look back at those moments when you're like standing out at 20,000 people, and then think back to when you were like 11 years old, do you ever think you'd make it there?
You know, no. No. I never in a million, like up until probably about 2021, I never in a million years would have even thought that I'd be dancing on stages in front of people. Like, I remember once when I was like, oh my God, I had to have been 4 or 5 years old. And I was at my grandparents' place in the living room, and I think my grandma put on some like Michael Jackson or something, and I just started ripping it up in the living room. And my grandma said to me, she's like, I can see it in you. One day you're going to be a professional dancer. I was like, okay, whatever. Didn't think twice about that. The best part is before she passed away, I was able to tell her I'm actually a professional dancer, Grandma. She's like, so cool. Wow. She's like, you actually did it. I'm like, I did. I'm like, I get paid to do this now. So she was the one person that always told me that I'd be a professional dancer. She always knew it. So
that's wicked.
Yeah.
It's definitely like, that's why I love having those family members who just can see and they push you to do it even when you don't see it, because it is definitely, especially grandparents. Grandparents always see greatness. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Always.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's kind of a full circle moment too, getting to do that, which is really nice.
Yeah, well, because like my dad would like he did tap dance, and he played music and stuff when he was a kid. And was in
So it's
band.
definitely in the
Yeah,
family.
definitely in the family. My mom's like an more so artsy. Like she used to make us clothes when we were kids.
Cool.
She does lots of arts and crafts and all that kind of stuff. So it's in our family to be that way, right? Like me and Brandy both dance.
Yeah.
But we started dancing after high school, whereas my other sister, Brittany, there's a sister in between.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There's a sister in between us. She did dance all throughout like elementary school and into junior high and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And that's where I just always wanted to dance. I'm like, there's dance studios out there, but none of them taught what I wanted.
Yeah, it was like contemporary ballet and hip hop.
They had hip hop, but it wasn't really hip hop.
No, it's not hip hop.
It was
yeah.
just...
It was like pop dancing.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. It wasn't anything special. They didn't have... No dance studios had break dancing. No dance studios had popping. It was all underground at that time. And the reason it was underground is because in the 70s and early 80s, when breakdancing went crazy, everybody and their dog was breakdancing. Everybody and their dog was breaking their arms, breaking their necks, this, that, and the other. And breakdancing started becoming banned on the streets and banned places. You couldn't do it anymore because they didn't want injuries and this, that, and the other. So it all went underground. And then that's part of the reason why the dance style, breakdancing and popping and stuff, became so dormant. And that's why you would find it in the underground scenes quite often. And like, you know, your hip hop scene, your underground electronic music scene, that's where you'd find these people because they weren't allowed to do it anywhere else.
Yeah.
So, you know, and now it's become, I mean, heck, they had breakdancing in the Olympics, which I'm not going to lie, that was a bit of a joke. The way they did it,
trying to turn it into a competition in that sense is weird.
It should have been done differently, and they should have done it, literally, a company like Red Bull should have just hosted the Olympics, the breakdancing of the Olympics.
Yeah.
And they should have done it whereas every country that was going to be in the Olympics could put their teams in and have it a competition that way. The way they did it, it just wasn't right.
Yeah.
It just...
led to a lot of really funny memes.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
It's one of the most entertaining things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It made me feel like I could do a lot better in dancing. Than,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
no, I think that there's like a resurgence in dance and hip hop right now, which is kind of nice to see because I've noticed, even with graffiti, there is a huge push for graffiti art online.
Yeah.
That is like, especially on Instagram, some of those like photos of graffiti have like millions and millions of views, and you're like, okay, so it's not like I don't want to say Banksy, but Banksy is one of the main people.
For me, I would rather, instead of just seeing the finished product, I like watching the videos where the guys show you how they did the product.
Oh, God, I know.
Those videos blow my mind.
They don't want to give you the techniques though, right?
So, well, I mean, some of them, what they're doing is they're showing different ends for their spray cans and stuff, and they're showing how they manipulate it to do these things. It's like, oh my God, like, wow.
My brother-in-law does graffiti, and he's really good at it, like with can, and I watched like to see some of the stuff that he does with can, and I'm like, man, how is this not like globally accepted? You know what I mean? Like, you see, like, we're going to be interviewing Andrene tomorrow, and she did like the band shell and stuff, and it's like it's amazing to see artists being accepted to do these things. So like Penticton is one of the most amazing places for Main Street and Martin Street Alley, where it's like the businesses allow you to do artwork in there, but like some of the graffiti is just so gorgeous that I'm like,
you want to see a rad, okay, it's not out here, but if you ever get down to Vancouver, go to the Red Room. Red Room for Subculture Saturdays. Check out their alley. Their alley has professional artwork in there. There's a couple of memorial pieces for friends of mine that have passed away. And just the artwork, all of the graffiti that's in that alley is unreal.
That's
It's
so cool.
all so good. There is some amazing alleys in Vancouver for graffiti. Like, I've gone to a few of the places and shot videos there, like dance videos and stuff.
That's so
because
cool.
That's what I like to do. Is I like to go around, search out cool places like that with cool backdrops and shoot videos, which I haven't done in a long time. I need to do that soon.
Right? Like, that is a really cool concept. I mean, like, and people enjoy watching dance. Like, it captivates.
Yeah.
Almost more so than, like, just watching. Like, when you're watching a video and I'm scrolling and I see a video of a dancer, I'm more drawn to watch the video full through with a dancer than I am to watch a band playing a song.
Yeah.
Which is really bad because I'm supposed to be this huge promoting of bands, but like I'm guilty of that because like I see you playing your instrument. Okay, cool, but like we all play our instrument. You know, like what are you doing differently than just playing your instrument in front of a camera? No one cares about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's why I kind of like I really enjoy.
The one thing tough with dance videos though is you have to captivate the audience in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, you have to do it in the first 3 seconds with everyone.
I watch a lot of the insights and stuff on some of my videos, and they're like, you can see it taper off of how long they watch the video. If it's not captivating in the first 30 seconds, it tapers off real fast.
Yeah.
And half of them won't even make it to the minute mark.
Yeah, it's definitely like you got to hit them with a bang, and then go down and then hit them with another bang at the end.
Yeah.
And then that's the only way to
Pretty
do it.
much.
And that's why I was like, it's hard to be the artist and create, but also have to worry about like social media.
Yeah,
and keeping up with the Joneses and that mentality versus just like living the normal life and being an artist used to be just what it was.
Yeah.
But now you have to be an influencer on top of it, and you've got to be able to sell a product on top of that.
And like I mean, your product can be 10 times better than the next guy, but the next guy's social media game is 10 times better than yours.
He used the hashtag 10 minutes before.
Who's gonna get the gig in that situation? I
Yeah.
can tell you who's gonna get the gig in that situation. It's the person with the social media behind them. kind of thing.
And it's very difficult. Like, especially when you're more passionate about like what you do versus what you look like.
Yeah.
That's I find like one of the biggest things.
Yeah. I for the longest time let dance do the talking for me. Mm-hmm. And now I'm finding the last couple of years, because I moved up here as well, down at the coast, a lot more people knew me as a dancer. I mean, I'm getting it back out here, but it's been an uphill battle. And sad thing is I am getting close to the end of my dance career. I'm still going to stay in the dance scene, but I'm probably just going to hit up different aspects of it, still manage the dance team and everything, and still be part of it, but just won't be physically doing it as much because my body doesn't like me anymore.
Yeah.
I've beaten it up pretty hard.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
Yeah.
If there was any advice that you would give to an aspiring dancer who's at the point where they're like, I really want to do this, but I have no idea what my first step is, what would you say it is?
Honestly, that's a tough one. But with the way the dance scene is, and there's so many different styles and stuff out there, if you're interested in a specific style of dance, you can, as much as I could not do this back in the day, you can go to YouTube, you can find videos, you can find many tutorial videos that are simple step-by-step videos that will help you move in the right direction that you want to move, and start looking for some of the dancers that you enjoy watching. Learn from them. Slow down the videos. Do what you have to start learning your own way to do some of the same moves. Also, create your own techniques. Because if you don't create your own techniques, you're gonna look like every other dancer out there. So
Never thought about that.
That's really big. That's the same with bands too. Mm-hmm. If every band sounded the same, nobody would want to listen to them.
Kind of where it's at right now.
Yeah,
Every band does sound the same.
Everything's just like there's just so much of this and so much of that, and it's like everything sounds the same. It's like, for instance, when dubstep started its downward spiral, it was overcrowded, flooded with all the same music. Mm-hmm. Everything was the same. Everybody can make dubstep now. and it actually almost ruined the scene, ruined it for a while, because it was just everybody that was into it and was like, oh my god, this is such a great genre. Then it got just mass produced of all this just stuff that sounded exactly the same, and all the people that thought it was great were just like, yeah, no, I'm done with this now. On to the next thing, and all of us moved to drum and bass.
Yeah. I still feel the one that I wish got really big was Moombahton. I don't know why, but it's just so fun.
You know, it was another one, Fidget. Fidget was great too. It was, this is what we dubbed it back in the day. This would not fly now. Dubstep's retarded little brother. Because it had a lot of the same sounds and everything, and it was just a lot faster.
Yeah.
But it was fun too at the same time. It was a genre that just could have been really dope, but it just kind of showed up,
Disappeared.
became the life of the party for like a couple hours, and then disappeared out the back door.
With an Irish goodbye.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
I want to thank you for doing this. This
You
has
are
been an
very
incredible
welcome.
talk.
Thank you for having me as well. I
No,
appreciate
thank
this
you.
a lot.
It's a part of the arts culture that I have yet got to embrace, and it's one that I love. And I think that there's enough artists in the world. Like, we have enough painters, we have enough musicians, we don't have enough dancers.
No.
And that's kind of one, like, that I'm, like, big on, is dancing.
And saying that, if you go into the rave scene again, you don't see the poppers the new poppers. You don't see the new break dancers anymore. They're not there.
No.
It's gone again. It came and it went again.
No.
I can't find break dancers and poppers that are like the young in their early 20s in the scene. They're not there.
No.
None of them are there. I can't find younger dancers anymore. It's like the only young dancers I can find are go-go dancers and, you know, flow artists and loopers and stuff. Can't find what I do anymore.
Yeah, no, and that's it. And that's one thing that I hope break and these subgenres of dance that are very underground don't just disappear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you again for doing this.
And thank you. Thank you.
And we'll catch you guys next time.